second installment on pivot points. And before, in the previous video, the first video, we looked at the zone. So the central pivot, which is the pink line in the illustration here, the central pivot is the main pivot, and then everything, you got these R1, R2, R3 above it, that stands for resistance, and then you've got below it, you've got S1, S2, S3, that stands for support. So basically, we talked about below the pivot is the buying zone, above the pivot is the selling zone. Now, in this video, we're going to expand on that because we're going to look at the actual levels themselves. So how do you trade off pivot points? Well, if we go to, if we just flick down here, you can see we've got the period separator. So this white line going down here shows a new day. So everything to the right hand side of that line is a fresh day, and that's when the pivot points were calculated. Before this line, on this price action in here, these pivots didn't exist. Okay, that's the crucial thing to bear in mind. So how can you trade? Well, first of all, what we want to do is we want to look for these pivots, what price they're at. So if you can see, this central pivot here is a new fresh reason to buy from that particular price. However, we don't just want to buy it because it's there, we want to match it up with something else. So we would need a fresh reason, which is the pivot, but also an old reason. So you can see yesterday here, price came down and bounced off this level when that pivot didn't exist. And now it existed and it came back down to that level. And now it's not only is it a good old level where traders have previously been buying, you've also got the fresh pivot point as a new reason to buy. And if we just scroll down here, you can see on this one, the S1 down here, exactly the same. Yesterday, price came down, bounced off it really strongly. Remember, this S1 didn't exist yesterday. Now we've got the S1 there. So if this price comes back down, you've got the S1 as a fresh reason to buy from this price, which is